Okay, welcome back. I didn't get the star yet, but I looked up how to get it, and I think you just jump in. I thought you had to like fly on the cloud. Do a jump like that. Nope. I should have just got it before I started, but whatever. Okay. I was gonna talk about my job. So in January, that's bad. The sales guy at my job left, and like it's a really small company, so there's just one sales guy for the whole company, and so I ended up kind of doing a lot of his job, and I guess it was kind of nice to be like the guy who's like stepping up to help. I did kind of feel like at my job before, I was kind of getting like depressed because my job was super boring and I wasn't doing anything. I was just like entering checks and invoices and stuff, and I just didn't feel like I was doing anything. Oops. So it was nice to be like the owners to come to me and like, we need your help. This guy left. He didn't give us much notice. Like we couldn't hire anybody or train anybody. So we're gonna piece together like his information, and we're gonna need your help to like at least just like enter orders and do customer service stuff. That was definitely scary when the word customer service is like a trigger word for somebody with social anxiety. Like customer service, I have to talk to people who might be angry. That's like my nightmare. And yeah, it hasn't been fun. I've had to do that a little bit, and it's awful every time. It's mostly just been through emails, which is tolerable. Whenever like an order's late, I have to be like, I'm so sorry, your order's late, like we're trying. So that hasn't been fun, but it's been nice to just like to be in that same situation, to be like, I'm not a customer service guy. I have no experience in sales at all. But like to just so that there's no pressure to like know what I'm doing. And when you do kind of start doing some stuff right, it's like it feels so good because it's like I wasn't even supposed to be able to be good at this, and now I'm like talking to customers and like I'm entering orders. It's like cool. Oops, that's a hard jump. This might take the whole episode. I forgot to start the freaking timer again. 15 minutes. I'm gonna fall. Oop, okay. But yeah, I've actually been a lot more stressed at my job now than I've ever been, so it hasn't really been a good thing. Just, sometimes my boss can treat me like I should know what I'm doing, which is not fun because it's like, I'm helping you do stuff. Like, if you want somebody who knew what he's doing, you should hire somebody who has customer service experience. So yeah, that can be really stressful. And now it's like that's almost all I do at my job now is just customer service stuff. So I'm like, do I have to leave this job because don't I want to be an accountant? I'm not doing a lot of accounting stuff. That's stressful. But stress is, after being kind of depressed, stress kind of feels almost nice because it's like you're feeling something. Because last year I was kind of depressed just because like I was living at home and my job. How small is that window? Gosh. The guy on the YouTube video made it look so easy. Anyway. I don't know, I guess that was it. Yeah, it's just, it can kind of be nice to feel stressed after being depressed, because it's, I don't know, the way I kind of experienced being depressed, and I'm not really sure if I even was, I don't know clinically like what it means, but I definitely, for me, it just kind of felt, I just felt like the most apathetic I've ever felt in my life. Like I didn't care about anything, and I didn't care about like even being alive. The strange thing is like, okay. Wow, that's a tough jump. Jeez, how do you do that? The weird thing about like, I don't know, I was thinking about this when I was depressed, is like, you think you'll be suicidal, and you kind of are, but you think like it's so much, it would take so much effort, and so you'd have to care about killing yourself so much to do it, and it's like you don't care about anything that much. Like I'd have to buy a gun, and like you'd have to do so much stuff. It's like I don't care about, like I mentioned probably before, like if I had a light switch, if I had a switch in my house that like just turned my brain off and I would just stop existing, I definitely would have pressed it. But like the whole idea of like this whole, it's so dramatic to kill yourself, and it's like you don't feel dramatic, you just feel like I don't like me, and I don't want to just do anything, and I don't want to be around anymore. So that kind of sounds like depression to me. So yeah, I guess I was depressed. Let's give this 20 more tries and then I'll stop. Okay, 10th tries the charm. Why does it seem like you can't? I feel like I've gotten that jump. Okay, for real, I'll give it one more try. I did write down a note about kind of being depressed, actually, when I got back from the vacation. I don't know if it was, I think it was just, it wasn't really depression, it was just more like being stressed and just like, now that I have like that groove in my brain of like depression, it just is, sometimes I'll just go there and be like, oh, I wish I was dead. I'd rather be dead than have to go to work tomorrow. I think that's a common thing for people to feel. It feels, it doesn't feel great in the moment because it's like, well, if I did have a gun in my house, would I use it? Did you see that? I saw it. There was a block. The guy in the YouTube video didn't use the block. Now I've got to do it. maybe subconsciously I knew that that block was there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have pressed that button. Why did I press that button? I don't know. I read like 4 more chapters of 1984. I'm almost like halfway through, I think. Probably like a third. It's definitely interesting. It's not like I said before, it's not like a typical story, like a hero's journey or anything. Winston's the main character, but it's more like just the world is the main character. He spends so much time describing the world. There's a block there. Goodness gracious, I can't get this stupid thing. He does, I mean, yeah, he's just, George Orwell, I guess he's thought a lot about this stuff, so he's like, he has a lot of cool ideas about like what it would actually be like, and like to live in this kind of a world and all the rules. So it is an interesting idea to like have this hate thing that they do, where they have this Goldstein guy. Got it. Finally. Who's like the villain. And Big Brother's like, this Goldstein guy, he wants to kill you. So you have to hate him and hiss at him. And they show his whole speech. And you think, that's weird. Like, wouldn't showing other people's ideas be dangerous for Big Brother? Like, what if some people wanted to follow this guy? And I guess the idea is like Big Brother has such great control that they're not really worried about like a couple people leaving and starting like their own revolution or whatever. Wow, I have a lot. Let's do Lethal Avalanche or Hazy Maze. Yeah. And also, I'm pretty sure this Goldstein guy is probably part of Big Brother's whole thing. He's not a real revolutionary. He's just kind of like a villain so that it can unite. Also, they talk about like constant war, and I'm pretty sure they're probably not at war. He's just like saying that. I think war like unites people. I guess sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. I never did this one. So I'm waiting for that maybe kind of a reveal of, yeah, Goldstein's not a real person, or he died, or he died a long time ago, or like he's part of the party and we just kind of have him go up there and say crazy stuff to get people united against him, and to be like, see, this is why we have to do what we do, because this Goldstein guy. And they give him a Jewish name. I'm sure that's not by accident. Okay, I can look at my notes while I go on the tour. I was kind of thinking like this Newspeak thing. I didn't really like it that much. I'm like, this is kind of silly. Like, what's the point of this Newspeak thing? It's like some kind of sci-fi nonsense that's like he just threw in there to be like kind of cool. Like, see, I came up with this new language in the future, but they introduced this character. Whoa. Oh, don't die. Oof, close one. They introduced this character who's like a newspeak expert, and it's a really good idea because it's like the newspeak is part of the Big Brother thing and the like controlling the people, and I just, if they didn't do that, I would have never thought of it that way. I'm not smart enough to be like, oh, this is part of it. They say a bunch of stuff like, I'm pretty sure he says like controlling speech is like if you can control the speech, you can control thoughts. So maybe if there's, he might have said something like, if there's no word for freedom, then people won't even think about like dissenting because they won't even have a word for it, and they won't. That was a cool idea that maybe doesn't make sense, but I thought it, in the way they explained it, it was like, oh, that's cool. They're controlling the language, and then eventually there won't be a word for, and if you don't have a word for it, then how would you ever be able to, you would just have a weird feeling like, I don't like this is bad, but you wouldn't know really what to do with it. Obviously, Big Brother's like, the people don't need to think, they just need to work or whatever. Thinking is not great for us. I guess kind of the point of it is like, I guess on the surface what he's trying to say is like, the most obvious thing that comes to mind is like, well, if you don't have language, then you don't have like art, or you don't have like imagination, and you don't have like just different ways to express yourself in like art and stuff. And so he's saying like, okay, that's another way that this world is bad. Like, you can't express yourself. The government wants you to just be a drone or whatever. Metalhead Mario can move. I actually have no idea how to do this one. I'll have to look that up next time. Actually, I think we are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, so, it's hard to talk for 2 hours straight. My throat. Oh. Okay, see you tomorrow.